10.
Minions. Oh boy, we're really doing this, are we? Okay, then let's just get this over with. I'm just gonna flat out say it. This movie is an abomination. I hate it. What else can I say? I just fucking hate this movie. Like, there's no story. Like, okay, I get it. Like, these minions are supposed to go find, like, the biggest, like, baddest villain there ever was. But, like, what else are you supposed to do with that, you know? If the villain that you're pushing in the story has no resemblance for the rest of the goddamn Despicable Me movies. Like, we only see her once in this film. And, okay, yeah, we don't know who the that is. So, retcon everything. And I think we all know that the main reason why they made this movie is because, oh, you know, the Minions are popular, so let's just cash the living out of each and every single one of them, you know? Toys everywhere, plushies, throw the at the theme parks, just fucking do everything. And it's no surprise that this is easily the worst animated film that Illumination has made. And they've made a lot of movies. I haven't even gotten to them yet. I just, oh my god, I don't know what else to say about this movie. I just hate it so much. I have a huge hatred for this movie, dude. And don't give me all that, yeah, it's just a kid's movie. Okay, yeah, I know it's just a kid's movie. But who are the sons of bitches that are paying to go see this movie with their kids? The adults. And do you think the adults want to suffer through this crap for an hour? No, we don't. There is one rule in animation that must be made clear. Animated movies, yeah, they're for kids, but it also has to be enjoyable for the adult that literally paid to watch it for their damn kids. So, yeah, I'm just giving this movie a flat out 0 out of 10. No contest.
9.
Hop. Who was the goddamn genius in the pitching room saying, hey, let's make a movie about an Easter bunny who doesn't want to do Easter bunny stuff and wants to be a musician, rock and roll, you know? Even better, wait till you hear this. Let's get the most annoying motherfucker on the planet, Russell Brand, to voice this bunny. And on top of all that, let's get James Marsden, you know, as like his human best friend, you know? And let's just make the CGI and the animation look like complete garbage. And Chris Melandrani stood up and said, my child, that is the worst idea I ever heard, but I'm broke as hell, so let's do it. Again, I don't know what else to say about this movie. Who greenlit this thing? My god, it's so ugly to look at. I'm not gonna lie to you, I tried to rewatch this for the review. I slept in the first 30 minutes in. I couldn't finish the damn thing. I remember, like, I woke up around, like, the third act, and they were, like, in the big-ass factory, and I was like, what kind of off-brand Charlie and the Chocolate Factory shit is this? Thank God this is Illumination's one and only live-action film, because I don't want to see any more of them. Is it better than Minions? Yeah, I guess. 2 out of 10, because there's no Minions, so I guess it's a good thing.
8.
The Secret Life of Pets. I'm just going to make this very subtle and very short, okay? Just 4 words I need to say to describe this entire movie in its whole, okay? Toy Story for dogs. That's it. Toy Story for dogs. This movie is literally a copy and paste of Toy Story, but it's for dogs. Okay? Did I simplify enough for you? Good. That's it. Toy Story for dogs. That is literally the worst sales pitch I've ever heard in my life. Hey, let's do Toy Story, right? But it's dogs instead. You know what? Just copy and paste the whole story while you're at it. Like, the similarities to Toy Story are right there on the nose, and it hurts to watch. I'm giving this a 3 out of 10 because Louis C.K. And what else do I need to say about Louis C.K.? Nothing else. Look it up yourself.
7.
Sing. You know, I live near Hollywood Boulevard, right? And every time I go there, there's always like 3 or 4 musicians, right? Playing like their guitars, singing on the karaoke, microphones, and all that jazz. And, yeah, this movie reminded me a lot about those guys. That's not a good thing, by the way. This movie is basically every sob story on America's Got Talent slapped together to make a decent kids movie. Story itself is bland, but the one thing I will say that I like about this movie are the covers. I mean, you got some pretty big names up there, like Reese Witherspoon, Scarlett Johansson, Seth MacFarlane, Taron Egerton. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so please excuse me. But their covers are really good, you know? They can really sing. No pun intended. But if you ask me personally, I feel like this whole movie was like Taron Egerton's secret audition for Elton John for Rocket Man. Which he rightfully deserves, by the way, because goddamn, that man has a gift, and Elton himself would be proud. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Besides having I'm Still Standing stuck in your head for the rest of the day, I guess I'll give it a 4 out of 10. Yeah, that seems about right. Also, Seth MacFarlane singing Sinatra never gets old.
6.
The Secret Life of Pets 2. Now, I will say that this was kind of an improvement because this wasn't a copy and paste Toy Story like last time. What I am going to say, though, is that they did do the copy and pasting again, but with a different company's movie, and that's DreamWorks. Which movie in particular? Madagascar 3, of course. I mean, if you're going to make your main baddie like a circus ringleader or whatever the hell he is, at least make him interesting, because he's just flat out boring. I mean, yeah, the movie is marketed as a kids movie, but we've got cats getting high, dogs saying like they're pissed. You got Kevin Hart singing a parody of Panda, and among a few other things that are not so obvious, but kind of crude if you ask me. This movie is just all over the place, you know? You basically see the main dog. I forgot what the dog's name is, to be honest. Like, I think it was Max or something like that. Yeah, he's just uncomfortable for like the entire goddamn movie. I mean, like, yeah. Sure, there's a happy ending, but damn, it was really uncomfortable. I just remembered something. Back to the Zookeeper, right? This whole guy's gimmick is that he has like a whole arsenal of weapons, right? And he just abducts people's dogs and stuffs them in cannons. That's it? That's your whole gimmick? Okay, then. So much for a scary kids movie villain. But again, it's a major improvement from the first movie because it's at least a little bit more interesting. I mean, you got Harrison Ford as a dog. I don't even know how they convinced him to do this movie, but yeah, Harrison Ford, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, this is the only time you'll hear me say this, but kudos to Illumination for stepping up and actually replacing Louis C.K., thank God, with Patton Oswalt for Max, which sounded amazing, by the way. Patton Oswalt just gives off a lot of his emotion and energy into his characters, and I honestly think that Patton Oswalt should have been considered for the first movie instead of Louis C.K., because if it was for Patton Oswalt, maybe the first movie would have been a bit better, even though it's just a Toy Story copy and paste. But yeah, that's it. 5 out of 10 for good measure.
5.
Despicable Me 3. Okay, this is where we kind of shift into they're still kind of bad, but they're kind of good. You know what I mean? And Despicable Me 3 definitely falls into that category. The biggest, con I have to give about this movie is that it has no need to exist, you know? The only reason why they made this movie was to profit off of, hey, Despicable Me 2 was popular, so let's make a sequel to that, you know? Because money and minions. But also, minions! They give us a lot of money! The whole, Gru has a twin brother that he never knew about, separated at birth. That whole thing is a big cliche to begin with, and it's just feels like the most recycled plot in the book. The side plots with Margot, Edith, and Agnes, and I forgot Lucy, I think that's what her name is. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care at all. I don't care for this movie or this movie's excuse for a villain. I can't even remember what his name is, to be honest. All I can remember is that he's like this punk 80s Stranger Things reject. I'm not gonna lie though, the scenes of espionage between Gru and Drew were kind of cool, animation wise, but beyond that, that's pretty much it. And of course, the biggest con out of this entire Despicable Me franchise are the goddamn minions. And let me remind you, this movie came out maybe 2 or 3 years after Minions came out, so people were still pretty sour from that whole fiasco. Just the sight of any minion now would just make you shudder in disgust. We truly do live in a society. Don't quote me on that. Why not? Let's give this movie a 6 out of 10.
4,
The Lorax. Now I know. You definitely did not see this coming. Neither did I. But after maybe 1 or 2 or 3 rewatches of this goddamn movie, oh man, I'm sorry guys, I just like this movie. Sure, is it an abomination to Dr. Seuss's original work? Yes. Is it a bad movie? Maybe, that's debatable. But is it enjoyable? Yes, it is. I must say that this movie deserves, I guess, way more praise than it already has, if there is any. I mean, like, the Lorax is a nice and charming character who cares about nature, you know, and I like the animation, and the ending is, oh, you already know about the ending.
Let it die, let it shrivel up and come on, who's with me?
Oh, I love saying this sentence. This movie has been memed to hell and back, but we love it for it. I mean, like, beyond the memes, you know? Let's get serious for a second here. Anybody who says, like, oh, The Lorax is like the worst Illumination film of all time. Look, I get it, you know? You think the main characters are weird and cringy and stupid. I don't blame you. You guys might not even like the animation. That's okay. But at least the ending is really good. I mean, this may be Illumination's most forgotten movie, but in my opinion, the lesson deserves to be remembered. Nature right now is truly taking a turn for the worst, and the best we could do is try to help it. What we're not gonna remember, though, is this little segment I like to call Tumblr Shaming 101, beginning with all of you horny bastards in 2012 who were shipping the one slur with himself, aka Onecest. I have no idea what the f*** was this fandom, but my god, its history is something to behold. I'm not going to get full into detail with this fandom because there are multiple videos and Tumblr pages where you can find its history, but my god, you guys need to get a life. Please. One last thing, by the way. The song you're currently hearing in the background, How Bad Can I Be, right? We all know that song, you know? It's cool, it's catchy, you know? But what if I told you this wasn't the original version and there actually is another version that was cut from the original and it's 10 times better than this one? Oh my god, why did they cut this from the original movie? Like, here, I'll play maybe just 10 seconds of the original. Just listen. Why did they cut this? It's so good. It actually has a message. This song alone could have saved the entire goddamn movie. Sadly, we are living in the darkest timeline where this song never saw the light of day. Not even Danny DeVito could save it from its light. I'm giving this movie a 7 out of 10.
3,
Despicable Me 2. Wow. Illumination actually made a pretty good sequel? That's cool. Not gonna lie, Despicable Me 2 is a really good movie, especially for the whole family to enjoy, even as corny as that sounds, because it's actually the truth. The main problem with sequels is that they add in a lot of new characters that some serve a purpose while others are just there for either marketable purposes or they're just there and they're useless the whole time. This movie, however, actually include characters that are important, you know, with like funnier lines, funnier actions, and it's just pretty good. I don't know about you, but I kind of dig the love story between Gru and Lucy. Like, at first, he doesn't seem to like her that much until he works for her for long enough. It's like two different personalities, you know? He's serious, he's bossy, and she's just wild and uplifting. But at the same time, they're both sweet and compassionate. Lucy is a pretty good introduction to the story, and I liked it a lot. The plot itself is actually really good, you know? Like, Gru's working undercover for like a agency or something, and I'm not gonna lie too, the minions in this one, it's debatable, but I like them in this one. Not because of their, you know, their minions and they do minion stuff and all that. No, because of like the purple minions. I like those, you know? I like them when they're like out of control, wild, not primitive, you know? It's pretty cool. You can debate with me on this one too. But goddamn, Illumination did a killer job with designing El Macho. His backstory, his charisma, his everything. It's just, damn. I like this villain a lot. I really do. And not just because he's Mexican. Because I am Mexican. And, you know, macho. Screw you, racists. I'm just kidding. El Macho is a really nice villain, and I like him a lot in this movie. And of course, everyone knows about Pharrell Williams' song Happy, which was in the movie, which, little known fun fact, I actually sang this in front of a middle school audience once about, around when this movie came out back in 2015. And that's on video, and it will never see the light of day, so don't ask for it. Let's see, let's give this movie a juicy 8 out of 10.
2,
The Grinch. When you think of The Grinch, right, you think of the past versions, right? For once, just for this moment right here, right, I want all of you to not look at any previous versions of the movie, right? And just focus on this version for a second. I absolutely loved how they portrayed the Grinch as a character that wasn't so evil and vile, and more of just someone who needed some love that was missing in his childhood, you know? It kind of sucks to say, but I kind of like this version compared from the others. I mean, the Grinch is made out to be like a pretty good guy, you know? He just had a rough childhood, and you see that build throughout the film. They kind of take some elements from like the 2000 Grinch movie, where like, you know, he didn't really know what Christmas was, and it kind of builds to him finally understanding what it really is. And again, I have to admit, I was a little skeptical, because remakes are often more disappointing than, you know, remakes. But this was a very refreshing take on the classic that a lot of us know. You know, the general story of the Grinch is there, you know? It's kept for continuity, which made me so happy that they didn't just blew it all away and just like went off in like different directions with the Grinch story. No, they kept it to the way it was, and the rest is all done in a modern, fun way that really appeals to a lot of audiences. The supporting characters like Max and the other Who's, they were given more of an identity. The music was pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, and the tone of the movie is a really positive one. Also, props to my homie Benedict Cumberbatch. That man actually makes a pretty good Grinch. It's safe to say that Illumination learned from their mistakes with the Lorax, with like design overall and the animation of how it looked, and they took it to 100 with this movie. Like, it looks so good. Animation-wise, visual-wise, wow. It literally feels like a Dr. Seuss book. It looks so good. One thing I kind of didn't like was how Tyler, the creator, was the guy who made most of the music, especially with his version of You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Like, yeah, that's not for me. Don't get me wrong, Tyler, I love you, but this just ain't it, Chief. Yeah, it's a really good movie, and you should definitely give it a try. I liked it a lot. Definitely blew away my expectations. And just in time for the holiday season too, because goddamn, this is definitely one Christmas movie I'm adding to my list. 9 out of 10.
1,
Despicable Me. Wow, who knew that Illumination's first movie was actually the only good one that they've ever made? This movie is just iconic, man, and it's such a shame that this is the only good movie in their collection. I'm gonna be real with you, Chief, for a second here, okay? When I saw this movie for the first time in theaters, I was like, oh my god, this movie is so good! I need to see more of this, right? Well, jump forward to 11 years later. Here I am, 18 years old, recording this stupid-ass YouTube video. I can definitely say that you're going to spot some problems with this movie when you're rewatching it as an adult or young adult. Like, it's thinly written characters and cheesy final act. But there are still lots of things that make this overall a really good movie. It's very well paced, it's fun, it does a really good job at even being silly when serious, and the story just feels original. Not as enjoyable as another movie by a different company that kind of has the same plot but is 1,000 times better. Megamind! No, still, the story is very good. But you know we can't talk about Despicable Me when we're talking about the main man himself with both direction and magnitude, the legend himself, Vector. My man here stole a pyramid, he owns a shark, he's got the Gucci orange jumpsuit, and he's a master at T-posing. Just look at that pose. Okay, no, jokes aside, Vector is a really good villain. I like him a lot. Better than El Macho? Yes, better than El Macho. Gru is such a great character in this movie. He starts off as a jerk at first, but then he becomes more likable. And this was the movie that introduced the world to the abomination later on, known as the Minions. The one meme that will forever curse Facebook. God damn you, Facebook moms. But yeah, in this movie, everyone's like, oh, this guy has minions? That's kind of cool. We were expecting, like, gruffy henchmen, not these yellow jelly beans. It's safe to say that the minions were tolerable in this movie, because then later on they will be literal killing machines and abominations of this earth. Not to mention that those little bastards sell for about $100 at theme parks and God knows where else on this godforsaken planet. You know, if Steve Carell never left The Office, I don't think we would have gotten Despicable Me. Thank God he did, because God, I hate that show. Don't look at me like that, you know The Office is overrated. And also, let's not forget the memes. My personal favorite meme is this one.
Can we get stuffed crust?
I'll stuff you all in the crust.
Oh man, that never gets old. But yep, that's it. I'm giving this movie the golden 10 out of 10, and that's the end of the ranking. Well, actually, hold on. There's one more thing I need to do, and that's push this shiny red button to activate Codename AMMD. What's Codename AMMD, you may ask? Well, it stands for Codename All Minions Must Die. Well, it was nice hanging around and just shitting on Illumination movies, but now I gotta blow up the studio. So, bye-bye, Minions. I'll see you in hell.